The PBA is live on ESPN. Our 5 finalists from Medford, Oregon are ready to roll. First, the 1987 PBA Rookie of the Year. He won his 4th career title earlier this season in Latham, New York. From Elmira, New York, Ryan Shafer. He finished 2nd in a thriller last week in Seattle, and today makes his 4th TV appearance of the season. A 2-time titleist from Wichita, Kansas, Lonnie Waliczek. From Lockport, New York, near Buffalo, he was last season's PBA Rookie of the Year, 2nd in the PBA World Rankings, looking for his 1st career title today, Angelo. From Flushing, Queens, New York City, he's 5th in the PBA World Rankings. Today makes his 2nd TV appearance of the season. Tries to add to his 2 career titles, Tommy Delutz Jr. Half of the only father-son duo in the PBA Hall of Fame. His 29 career victories are 4th all-time, including the Triple Crown from St. Anne, Missouri, near St. Louis. The one, the only PDW, Pete Weber. That is the final 5 from Medford, Oregon today. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson. Randy, let's check in with our matchup. Let's check in with our matchups now from Medford, Oregon. As we are ready from Lava Lanes, the PBA Tour live on ESPN continue.
The wild card match pits Ryan Shafer, who can break the $1 million mark in career earnings by reaching the final match, and Lonnie Waliczek, rebounding from last week's crushing defeat in Seattle. In semifinal number 1, it's Angelo making the 2nd TV appearance of his career, taking on Tommy Delutz Jr., who looks for his 1st win since November of 2001. PDW Pete Weber, the PBA World Ranking leader, awaits the wild card winner in semi number 2.
Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, our entire crew, are ready to go after our matchups from the Medford Open in Medford, Oregon. Stop number 2 in the 2nd half of our exciting PBA season. Wild card matchup, Shafer and Waliczek. Fitting for a 5th title today in his career, and a great start on lane 29 for Ryan Shafer.
The last time we saw Ryan Shafer on pattern B was the Empire State Open in Albany, New York. Ryan Shafer won that tournament.
Somehow, someway, Lonnie Waliczek has been able to rebound from last week's unbelievable moment, as we'll tell you about in our broadcast in a few minutes down the road. Perfect start in the pocket as we check in with the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup range.
Pretty tight match here, but when it's coming down to crunch time and you need a strike, check out the strike percentage of Lonnie Waliczek. Almost 10% higher than Ryan Shafer. Slow start for Lonnie Waliczek. Bad news when you're bowling single game match on television. Good news though when you're bowling match play, because he really kicked it up a notch. Games 2 through 7, averaging almost 244.
Remember last week, Lonnie also bowling in the wild card match, 1-2, then the incredible disappointment for Walter Ray Williams Jr. when he needed a mark in the 10th and could not do it. What a look of entire bewilderment on the face of Lonnie Waliczek.
This week we have added board numbers on the approach. This should help us better quantify the subtle adjustments that players make frame to frame and game to game. Ryan Shafer playing the deep inside line, about 15 boards further left with his feet than Lonnie Waliczek.
Starting way right on his approach to the pocket, and the ball comes in very light for Ryan Shafer, who's shaking his head.
Ball doesn't work on that lane.
Pretty puzzled.
Just a big whiff. I mean, this ball just never had a chance. we get to the lane animation, I'll show you why that ball didn't get back, but the lanes are slick from the outside part of the lane.
34th career TV appearance, third of this season for Ryan Shafer. Covers nicely, not an easy spare as he picks up the remaining 3 pins. 226.84 average for him, an 11-9 match play record. Lost.
Absolutely.
That's why he is the
pure
wild
shots.
card, but had the highest of the losers in the round of 8. His 18 games of qualifying heading in to match play. 3 rounds of best of 7, so he's down 10 here. A double to start. Lonnie Waliczek bidding for his first title of the year. Good adjustment as he moves to the other lane.
Well, he doesn't like his reaction on the right lane. He's got a good look on the left lane, but he's got to figure it out if he's going to take down Lonnie Waliczek. That ball crosses about the 3rd air on the left side or the 25th board for right-hander. Last week we saw Lonnie playing the deep inside line, really throwing that big hook ball. It shows you how versatile he is right away, going nice and straight.
Looks for a turkey ball to start. A little high, it's okay, gets a break.
Yeah, he sure did. Nice break, tripping the 9, Dave.
He'll gladly take that. Plenty of smiles for Lonnie.
Love tap on the 9. This is for a 3-bagger. And Lonnie likes that little break.
Lonnie is 8th in the PBA Tour rankings coming in. Over 105,000 points to his credit. So even without a win, as he told us last night, basically just have to show up. For the last several tournaments of this season, he should be exempt next year. However, the desire, the thirst is still there for Lonnie after last week's disappointment. Atta baby, all right. Good start.
Last week we saw Lonnie Waliczek playing the deep inside line. The further in you are, the more you go away with the ball, the more you want your hand on the side. Look how his hand gets on the side. That gets the ball to push right and feed left. This week, although he's much further right, this is in warm-up. Look how his hand's much more up the back of it. We're only talking a couple of inches, but if you think about it, a couple of inches creates a lot more rotation on the bowling ball.
Light again. Avoids not only the 7-10, gets help with a 7 late. He'll take all 10 down.
Watch this. 8, 9, 10.
Hop, skip, and a jump to boot for Ryan Shafer, who told us last night how much he enjoys this center here in Medford. Lava Lanes. Proprietors do an unbelievable job. He said you really feel like a professional athlete, Randy, as you know when you're here.
This is probably the best stop on the tour for us.
See how far left he was, adjusting on the left of the TV pair. And trouble getting into the pocket again.
Looked a little firm on this shot. When you throw it too hard on the oil we use on the PBA Tour, the ball hydroplanes. Coming in light, leaving the 2-4-5.
He's already won, we know that. He'd like to get to the top of the money list. That's his goal. Wow, covers again on a fairly difficult spare. Better keep your goals and focus in mind after you've won. Lonnie has not. But the guys who are exempt already, good example, Robert Smith, won in Omaha. We have not seen him on a show since. Got to create your new motivations and focus. Speaking of focus, this guy's the master of it. Who somehow, with his 12-3 match play record, 227.09 average, somehow, some way, after the unbelievable letdown of last week in Seattle, he is here again, amazing us all. Of the 5, the only one to avoid going 7 in match play from the round of 32 through the round of 8. All best of 7 matches.
Last night, needed the first strike in the 10th frame against Tommy Jones to get back here today. He flushed all 3 in the 10th.
So he's over it. He works with a sports psychologist very closely. It's about focus with Lonnie Waliczek. When we return, we'll hear from Lonnie about rebounding from that emotional heartbreak of last week. And we'll wrap up this wild card match between Ryan Shafer and Waliczek. We'll also break down oil pattern B when we return to Medford, Oregon. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA Medford Open is brought to you by Uniroyal, the official tire of the PBA Tour. Uniroyal tires, trusted by American families since 1892. By the official candy bar of the PBA, Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal. And by Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. Crater Lake National Park, over 183,000 acres in south central Oregon, one of the oldest national parks in the country. Third year the PBA Tour is here in Medford at this beautiful center, Lava Lanes. We welcome you back with our entire crew, Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson. Arguably one of the most dramatic and disappointing moments of any player, any time in PBA Tour history, Randy, last week with Lonnie Waliczek in Seattle, but he's back today.
Well, you know, if you look up mental fortitude in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of Lonnie Waliczek. He needed a mark in the 10th frame last week to beat Walter Ray Williams Jr. and leaves a devastating washout that he fails to convert. But a true champion takes adversity head on and rebounds from it. That's why Lonnie's back on TV today.
The feelings that I had after watching that ball do what it did, I think were just simply a little disbelief. That turned into frustration and some anger. And then after that, there was a little bit of sadness because I knew I couldn't get that shot back. And, you know, it's a title and it's a little money. But I've had a lot of support since then. And I think that, as much as anything, has helped me kind of get through this week.
Just amazing to see him back. Talk about mental focus, and he's bowling well so far in the wild card match. 43 feet, lane pattern B. Good for the Boomers this week, Randy.
Good for Boomers. Pattern B, good for if you got the power ball. All the players played in this week because the outside part of the lane was very slick. But instead of them players moving in or to the left when the lanes broke down, they actually moved to the right. A lot of what Lonnie Waliczek is doing right now, straight and firm up the second arrow.
All the latest info on the PBA Tour, just a mouse click away, www.pba.com. And now the Tour's official website has been updated. We feature live scoring, beginning with a round of 32 match play, continuing through the end of each tournament. Live scoring, much more at all at pba.com. Log on today. Back to Shafer. Look light.
Wow.
Another break.
It was light.
I think maybe next time Lonnie gets up, I'll tackle him.
Yeah, he may have to. Lonnie Waliczek perfect through 6 frames. Ryan Shafer, if he strikes out, can shoot 257. Ryan Shafer told me last night, you know, Randy, I hated pattern B last year. This year, a win on pattern B.
10-pin for Shafer on the left of the TV pair, however, with the 6-packer to start things for Lonnie. The unbelievable start. It might be impossible to catch. That's a lot of the bowlers last night. If they've been in a similar situation Lonnie was last week in Seattle, all of them have been at one time or another in match play throughout their amateur careers where you need a mark in the 10th. Something so easy and so every day for these guys at this level just doesn't happen. Rebounding quickly. Since the round of 8, on fire. Seven straight, does he have it? Not quite, 2-pin.
Fortunate not to leave the 10-pin with that. This is an easy 9 spare for Lonnie, who will be going at a 249 pace, meaning that if he strikes spares the rest of the game, fills 20 pins a frame, he will shoot 249.
Covers, takes care of the mark. What's on the line today? And the march to the World Championship. Plenty of points, $40,000 as well. Pete right now has not won on tour this year, hasn't won since last year in North Carolina, but he's #1 on the tour rankings. 25,000 points to be won today, 20,000 for the runner-up. Brad Angelo also looking for a first career tour title. So they have not earned automatic exemption, but really, are they locked is the question now? Yeah, pretty much. With a great year. And a great shot from Lonnie, who says he got 35 phone calls or so after last week's disappointment in Seattle.
Well deserving too, because you don't like to see anybody lose a tournament the way Lonnie did. But by throwing shots like that, Lonnie's going to be very difficult to beat.
Shafer, a win at Albany. Runner-up to Patrick Healy Jr. on Long Island. He's in the pocket there.
Switch balls on the right lane, and you notice that the last 2 strikes he threw on the right lane were very marginal.
This is disturbing.
Went to a more aggressive ball, and that ball goes dead flush. And right now for Ryan Shafer, he has to strike out. 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and hope that Lonnie Waliczek has an open in either the 9th or 10th frame to have any chance to win this game.
Desperately needed the strike to keep this thing going and keep his faint hopes alive. He's done that.
Well, there's still life, and as we saw last week, anything can happen on the PBA Tour. Again, another light hit. Right now, Lonnie Waliczek, all he has to do is stay clean in the 9th and 10th. Any kind of a mark, spare or strike, 9th and 10th frame.
Foundation frame here, strike for a 42-pin lead. That looked high through the nose.
And that could have been disastrous.
3-6 up.
3-6 up is much better than the 3-4-6-7, which was facing Lonnie. Even the 3-6-9-10. But right now, just a 3-6 spare. Straight and hard at it with a plastic ball that doesn't hook.
Take care of the 3-6. Of all those phone calls, Lonnie said one from his cousin was the best, who didn't call after Seattle's disappointment to console Lonnie, but said, hey, add up all the numbers right now. All you really have to do is enter the remaining events on the tour, and you're exempt. So look at it as a positive. And Lonnie said that really was the most poignant and valuable call of all he got. Of course, his wife, Amy, was wonderful as usual. And building him up for the next week, which he's done so well.
Well, with a spare here, Lonnie's going to win. If he misses this, we have a possibility of a tie, but I don't see Lonnie missing this 2-pin. And straight up the back, that release coming right up the back end of the ball. This one was just pulled. And again, another nice break, not leaving the 310, so avoids 2 disasters in the 9th and 10th frame.
Lonnie has wrapped it up. He'll be off to the semifinals, a second straight week from that wild card position, or that match he's had to work out of, which is not easy. So the week ends for Shafer, who's bowled very well.
Another great week for Ryan Shafer, who before he won in Latham, he was 83rd on the point list. Coming into this week, he's 12th on the point list. Big turnaround for Ryan Shafer. You won't see the last of him. And Lonnie Waliczek, after the disaster last week, wins another game on television. What a rebound for that young man right there.
Ryan very happy with the way this year's gone, not only for himself with a victory, but he thinks with the exemption next year that's brought out the best in bowlers throughout the entire tour. Like
A little shaky down the stretch, but got through the first one.
That's back home to the family in Wichita. Brad Angelo on the right, Tommy Delutz Jr. on the left. That's the next match, semifinal from here in Medford. And as Ryan pointed out, hey, guys are coming in 8 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, even on days they're not bowling, to practice and get ready.
I tried.
Guys like Tommy Delutz, who's not clinched a spot next year. Angelo, as we mentioned, second in tour points, pretty much there, but he hasn't clinched yet. So the motivation is there, and the better bowling is a result.
I think every player on the telecast today, even though not everybody has won, they're guaranteed a spot next year.
Go get him. Waliczek is through to the semifinals. He'll take on the legend Hall of Famer PDW Pete Weber coming up next. We've got Brad Angelo, last year's Rookie of the Year, bidding for his first ever career title against Tommy Delutz Jr. He's won a couple times on tour. It's all coming up from Medford. This is the 32nd PBA event in the state of Oregon. Back at Lava Lanes. Where are we going next week? We roll on to Reno, Nevada for our second major of the year, the ABC Masters. The action starts as always at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. 10 here on the West Coast on ESPN. Don't miss the best bowlers in the world like Brian Smith, who last year won his first career title at a major at the National Bowling Stadium in Reno. Walter Ray Williams Jr., the victim. Brian Smith's only career title at this point. For more, log on to ESPN.com. We're looking forward to our second major of the year. Can Patrick Healy Jr. make it 2 straight? Those questions will be answered.
And the ABC Masters is the only major Pete Weber hasn't won.
Wow. Perhaps this year, Tommy Delutz Jr. gets started high a little bit, but a very good result for the native of Flushing, Queens, New York City. Biggest Mets fan I've ever met. I thought I was the biggest. He is by far the biggest. Same state, but way up in WNY, Western New York. It's Brad Angelo from Lockport, very close to Buffalo. Where, folks, it has been unbelievably cold the last week. 3 straight days of 15 below. Now, that's just air temperature, not the wind chill. Let's start here at Lava Lanes as we check in with the Major Real Deal matchup.
And Brad Angelo with a big advantage in the average. And it showed last night when he ran over a red-hot Chris Barnes in the round of 8. Starts fast, which is great for television. But even games 2 through 7, he averaged 235 this week.
We saw Chris Barnes after that match, too, here at the bowling center. He was a little dazed and confused. He said, I just got run over by Brad Angelo in the round of 8s. Second TV appearance of the year for the righty. Last year's Rookie of the Year.
Those two.
We saw him to open the season in Omaha. He's got a double to start.
Brad Angelo starting around the 31st board. He's going to walk left. He's got that little delay in there. That's a timing step. His laydown is about the 3rd board from the left gutter. See that rotation on that bowling ball? That's what gets his ball to push to the right and get back to the pocket.
Flush pocket for Tommy Delutz Jr., who is playing with an injured right wrist and ligament damage in there that he's been overcoming all year long.
I crushed it.
Tommy is not quite as deep. He snags his pant leg on the ball return going by. Still gets it to go flush.
Nice when that happens, huh?
A little interference with the ball return. Is that fair?
Sure. We asked him about that wrist injury, and he said, just suffice it to say that I've become Captain Advil. Using it quite a bit to overcome the pain. No pain whatsoever now for Tommy Delutz Jr. Off to a great start. 5 total strikes between the 2 red-hot bowlers in this semifinal match.
After this shot, Tommy says holding first down because he knew he got that ball in a pinch. Ball held its line and went dead flush. Right now, both players are perfect after 2.5 frames. Strike here, we're all even.
Turkey ball chance. There is Michelle Angelo, who's come from Western New York to join Brad on the tour. 3 in a row for each to start. The family is with Brad now for the rest of the second half. Chris Barnes, that's the match you mentioned, in 5 games. His average in match play, the 3 rounds, best of 7, 230.78, a 12-7 match play record. For Brad, who also has Dylan and Brielle, his young children with him. Dylan will be 3 in April. Brielle, 8 months old next week. Big difference, he said, to have the family with him on a regular basis.
Just a modified 4-step approach.
Yeah! 60 feet to success for Brad Angelo, 10 down on the pin.
Modified 4-step approach. Look at the hand on the inside part of the ball. Brad is very slow with his ball speed. And that reaction. He has to stay intense, otherwise he can't perform.
Back to Tommy Delutz Jr. What a start for him. 4-bagger for each here. As we have got some big numbers on oil pattern B. 12-5 record, 224.49 average for Delutz Jr. to get here. And he knocked off Ryan Shafer, who was subsequently knocked off by Lonnie Waliczek in the wild card match. All perfect, all even.
Lots of big games in match play. Lane conditions held up. Only 2 players on a pair of lanes versus a bunch of players crossing through qualifying.
5 straight Tommy Delutz Jr. And a 10-pin lead in our perfect game so far between the two.
Perfection through 5 frames for Tommy Delutz, 4 for Brad Angelo. A strike here will be all even. Still looking for our first spare of the match.
Deliberate motion delivery. 5 in a row. 10-pin, no help for the messenger. Gosh, Brad.
This ball looks like it's just wiggling the whole way down the lane. What I mean by that is it's looking for friction so it can start turning, and it just never finds it. See how it's just hanging, hanging, hanging? 2 things that cause that: bad release and excessive ball speed. And our first spare, Dave.
In case you're wondering, folks, we've never had dual 300 games on TV before for a sudden death roll-off. It's never happened. However, the highest score, 300 to 279, that's happened twice on TV in PBA history. Delutz Jr. is perfect as he bids to become the second 300 game on TV this year. Mika Kogunemi in Connecticut had the other. Help on the 10, no. All the way across the deck, but didn't glance it.
That ball pushed just a shade down the lane and came in a bit behind the head pin, and that's why the weak 10's up. Messenger came looking, no customers.
Ten-pin for Brad Angelo, but a couple of marks for him with spares in the 5th and 6th. Puts him down 12 pins to Tommy Delutz Jr., who bids for a 300 game when we come. December 7th of 2003 in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. That was Mika Kogunemi's perfect game. You see through 6 frames the breakdown so far. Perfect start for Tommy Delutz Jr. Mika became the 16th all-time bowler to register a 300 game on TV. Can Tommy Delutz Jr. here in Medford become number 17? There's a lot of extra prize money on the line if he can keep it going. Here's 6 in a row. Apocalyptic, baby. Yeah.
I think it's important to make a note. Tommy Delutz Jr. has 6 in a row. If he gets 9 in a row, Cambridge Credit is sponsoring a bonus of $10,000 to the first player on TV to start a match with 9 strikes in a row. If that player goes on to roll a 300 game like Mika did in Windsor Locks, the bonus will be doubled to $20,000.
$10,000 from the PBA is on the line. We're coming to you from Lava Lanes, Medford, Oregon. Live coverage, PBA Tour. Delutz Jr. bid for a 300 game, looking for 7. Good bit. We had 3 300 games in Medford this week. Tom Baker, the round of 1. Rudy Kazamakis, round of 1. Tommy Jones, who made the final 8, round of 16, had 3. Since then, not had one. A chance for Delutz Jr. 3 so far this week. There you see it. Angelo's got to keep focused, hoping for an opening, and there's a good ball from him. Flush in the pocket.
Well, that ball picked up at the right spot. We like to see skid roll hook on the tour. Skid the first 15 feet of the lane. This is the signs that are letting you know the distance. First 15 feet is the heads. 30 feet is where we want the ball to start rolling, and when it comes out of the pattern at 43 feet, that's when we want to start seeing it go to the left. Brad Angelo looks like he's more skid, hook, And Tommy Delutz Jr. looks like he's more skid, roll, and hook.
Down 32 pins, but there's a chance for opening. There always is.
I'm still breathing, baby.
And the best thing for Brad Angelo to do, he knows he's still breathing. Strike like that. Let's check in the days in on the road. Don't forget, you can log on, PBA.com. There are great tickets available. Arena seating at the ABC Masters next week in Reno. We'll stick with you in Reno as well just a few days later. Log on to PBA.com. Anaheim Convention Center and the season-ending PBA World Championship, Ypsilanti, Michigan, the Eastern Michigan University campus. Great seats available. Log on. Buy them today, folks. Looking for eights. Yes! 8 in a row. Tommy Delutz Jr. bidding for a 300 game. He's close.
I want you to watch Tommy Delutz Jr.'s finishing position at the foul line as this ball shreds the rack. Watch this. Look how he just stays with it, and that body doesn't move. I think that's what makes Tommy Delutz Jr. so great. The shot here is for $10,000 from Cambridge Credit Counseling.
He's had one 300 game this year, folks. 26 in his career. Big bonus on the line. Front nine. Mark! Yeah!
Yeah! Front nine, he needs only a mark in the 10th frame to win this match. But more importantly, 3 more strikes for another $10,000 bonus from Cambridge Credit Counseling and $10,000 bonus for a perfect game from the PBA.
Getting close. Last year we had Norm Duke in Seattle. Unbelievable finish that was. With a 300. This year Mika Koivuniemi.
Stay alive. Let's go.
And now a chance for Tommy Delutz Jr.
But remember, like last week, Walter A. Williams Jr. strikes out 9th and 10th to force Lonnie to mark in the 10th frame.
A lot can happen. Got to keep the pressure on him.
Done.
And that's it.
All right.
Brad Angelo is going to lose this
After 2
match,
balls?
but Tommy Delutz Jr. has a chance at perfection.
4-6-7 up for him on the split. Take out the 4-7-6 remains standing in an open frame. Finishes Angelo. That means Delutz Jr. will advance on to the final. Lonnie Waliczek, Pete Weber will be his opponent.
You know, I think right now it's actually going to be easier for Tommy Delutz Jr. to actually pull off a perfect game because now he does not have to worry about making that perfect shot or fitting that perfect shot to get a mark to win. All the pressure is off for him winning the game.
When do we see a 300 game last? December, Windsor, Locks, Connecticut. We all battled that blizzard, including Mika Koivuniemi, the big Finn. And locked in all week, including in the championship match, a 300 game and a title for Mika Koivuniemi, earning exemption, his 3rd career championship, first non-major title for him. Now it's Delutz Jr. Can he keep it going? 10-pin! And the magical run will fall a little short. He has won the match, though, to the final, but he will not have a 300 game.
Watch this ball. It's going to get right, and it's going to get back, but it rolls out. It stops continuing left right before it enters the pocket, and that's why it hits flat.
So this match has been locked up. Delutz Jr. off to the finals. A win in the semis over Brad Angelo. What a moment. Nearly a 300 game. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA Medford Open is brought to you by Bayer Aspirin. Take it for pain, take it for life. By Cambridge Credit Counseling. Log on to nodebt.com and find out how good it feels to be debt-free. And by Dexter Bowling, Golf, and Casual. We have the right shoe for you. In season, the Rogue River in Southwest Oregon up to Class 4 Rapids runs over 40 miles of canyons. And for much more information on that and the beautiful Crater Lake National Park, what an area this is, www.visitmedford.org. Log on today to find much more about this beautiful part of the country. Semifinals, the final that we saw a moment ago was 279-211, so Angelo goes down to nearly perfect game here at Lava Lanes for the Medford Open. And home to the PBA great, the Medford meteor himself, Marshall Holman, in attendance, always known as the man who tells it like it is. Marshall does just that in this week's Miller Milestone.
Going back into the late 70s and early 80s, there was a definite big three in bowling. It was Earl Anthony, it was Mark Roth, and it was myself. Just to be mentioned with those two players and to be known as that dynamic of the big three of bowling, that's something I'm extraordinarily proud of. You have to be separated from what's happening at the moment to look back and go, those really were some great years. Earl will always be remembered for being just this phenomenally great player. You know, he got up there and did his work and just kicked everybody's butt. Mark will be known for being the power player who revolutionized the game, and then I'll be known as the wacko who you never know what he was going to do. Made for a very, very fun rivalry.
This week's Miller Milestones, the Medford meteor, Marshall Holman, who's third all-time in TV appearances. Pete Weber, 103, is fourth, bidding for a 30th career title when we return to Medford. Medford, Oregon is the home of the Medford meteor, Marshall Holman. The PDW fan club is here as well as we get set for that match coming up soon. And Marshall joining us now. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Dave. Nice to be with you.
In addition to taking care of Randy on the golf course, we know you kind of hammered him this week. What kind of things are going on in Marshall Holman's life these days?
Well, hey, I'm retired. I'm just loving life here in Southern Oregon. I play golf. I ski. I've got a beautiful wife, Annette, my stepdaughter, Alex. My life is perfect.
Good to know. The Hall of Famer here with us, joining us in the booth for this first half of the match between Weber and Waliczek. This is the semifinal. Almost had a 300 there with Tommy Delutz Jr. Marshall was locked in.
Sitting right behind him, and he really had the left lane totally wired. He was coming in line in the right-hand lane, and he got caught in that half pocket zone. But 279, what a great game.
Nice break, good start for Lonnie Waliczek. Now, Marshall, we asked a lot of the players last night if they had experienced something like Lonnie did last week in Seattle, where he had a mark in the 10th, didn't come through, overcame the emotion of that to return to the show next week. Do you remember a similar experience with your career?
Well, I didn't finish second 32 times without, making mistakes in the 10th frame. And, yeah, it happened to me. And, boy, my hat's off to Lonnie for making the comeback.
And a great start for PDW as well. Pete Weber, another Hall of Famer, which Randy leads us to the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
Well, the big difference here is this. Check this out. 70% strike percentage for Lonnie Waliczek. Comes down to throwing strikes. He throws a lot of strikes, but Marshall Holman, again, talking about what happened last week in the 10th frame. I mean, what goes through a player's mind when something like that happens?
Well, I think that, sometimes it's easier if you're forced to throw a strike than if you have to throw just a spare, because you get a little protective. And I'm imagining that's what Lonnie did in the 10th frame last game. And, I also think it's going to be difficult for Lonnie today because the way he threw the shots in the 9th and 10th frames of his first game, I think that's going to plant a little mental doubt in his mind as well. And you don't need that bowling against Pete Weber.
PDW covers nicely.
That's follow through.
Bidding for his first title of the year. Really no reason to worry about exempt status for next year. First in points right now.
Yeah, none of these guys have to worry about exemptions. They're either have won a tournament or they have so many points they're going to make the top 50 without an issue. But Marshall, getting back to what you talked about, and I agree with you, as Lonnie Waliczek throws a nice strike there, Lonnie Waliczek was going much straighter in the first match with a different ball. Now he's way in where Tommy Delutz was when he shot the big 279 game.
Well, these guys watch the other players, and he did have a good look for the first part of his game, but those shots on 9th and 10th frame, maybe that was the impetus to making that move deep in the left side. And I watched him bowl all week, and I couldn't believe the way he was able to play outside. I tried to play in, not very successfully, but most of the guys were in this week.
Well, you had a great week, Marshall, just missing the first cut by 4 pins, and for a guy that bowls only 3 games a week, I mean, it just goes to show you how great you were and still are to me.
Well, I appreciate that, Randy. It was fun. If I'd have bowled 9 more games, my hand just would have hurt even worse than it does now. So maybe a good thing that I got knocked out.
Joined in the booth here by the Hall of Famer Marshall Holman, 22 titles.
How am I going to make that other $110 to get to 1.7? I just don't know.
Bowl regional. You got a bowl regional or something, pal, that's for sure. As Lonnie covers, picks up the spare. He's bidding for the turkey with 3 straight strikes to start this semifinal match. Tommy Delutz Jr. is already through. So Weber down by 8 pins. Third frame for PDW. Trying to become the 4th bowler in PBA history to win 30 titles. Earl Anthony, Walter A. Williams Jr., Mark Roth are 30 plus. Look good. Good follow through, Pete. Sony Open in Hawaii is coming up. Final round coverage of the PGA Tour on ESPN. Ernie Els, among others, with Davis Love III, Vijay Singh, looking to defend his championship. Final round coverage of the Sony Open in Hawaii can be seen at 7:30 Eastern Time. There you saw the leaderboard. Harrison Frazier leading the tournament by 1 shot over the defending champion.
Oh, no.
9-pin wiggling, still wiggling. That won't go.
Marshall, not to get away from Pete's solid 9 because obviously not a good break on a strike, but I have to ask you this question. We talked about it all year long. What is your feelings on the tour going to an all-exempt field next year? And how would you feel being in a position like, say, myself, trying to get to that exempt status?
Well, it's a bold move by the people that are now running the PBA. I think it's going to make for a lot of excitement next year. As far as being in the mix this year, at this stage of my career, or at this stage of your career, very, very difficult. The new format with the best 4 out of 7, to advance in match play is it can be cruel at times. But hey, the guys know what they're up against, and I'm happy to be here in Medford, Oregon, and not out there with you trying to get that exemption.
Nice break, 10-pin, late to fall for Lonnie Waliczek. We saw the breakdown of the 64. Player field for next year will be very different on tour.
See that dark board? It just crossed over right there at about the 43-foot mark. That's the 10th board. That's Lonnie's break point. Del Ballard, our statistician, and I talked yesterday. We felt that Tommy Delutz Jr. and Lonnie Waliczek, when we talk about that skid roll hook type of look, that they're the best at it. They get their ball to skid through the front part of the lane, get it to pick up in the middle part of the lane, and then get that ball to roll the right way. And that transitional move down the lane is perfect.
Well, they're proving it right now. I like Brad Angelo's chances. I watched the bowl all week, and I was so impressed with the way that he gets his ball in the pocket, shot after shot after shot. But boy, Delutz dismissed him easily.
Yeah. Well, I think talking about Brad, that's why he is second on the point list and doing as well as he's doing this year. He makes the finals every week. And the only thing that he hasn't done is win. And he's now recorded 2 telecasts this year.
Down 18 pins heading into that shot.
I never broke up a 310. Every time I hit the head pin high, 310. There's Tracy Weber, Pete's wife. Yeah, she's
that pretty good.
He liked that shot, Randy, but you think he gets a little slow, a little extra hit on that ball?
Well, it's either that or it's the wrong ball choice, because that ball needed to go another 2 feet down the lane before it changed direction.
And the 3 stands. So an open frame for PDW. That hurts, especially the way Lonnie has bowled, who has a double now and a big 31-pin lead on Pete Weber.
Pathetic, Pete. That was just pathetic.
You know, Marshall, you practice before your match starts, and a lot of times if you don't have a great look, you have to guess. And it looks like Pete made the wrong guess.
Yeah, and you just have a few frames to make that guess.
Right.
Way left on his approach, makes the adjustments on lane 29 very well. Marshall Holman, great to see you again.
Thank you, Dave. Randy, thank you very much. Enjoy playing golf with you at Roquel earlier in the week. See you next year.
Thanks, Marshall.
We'll break down those scores at the return, plus the rest of this match from Medford. Final 5 in Medford, 37 combined titles. Pete Weber has 29 of those, and all 6 of the majors won in this field. The 87 TOC, the U.S. Open National Championship in 89 and 98, and 91 U.S. Open, TPC in 92, but he has not won the ABC Masters.
He finished second there, though.
Perhaps this role will lead him to a good appearance in Reno at the National Stadium next week. 1 o'clock Eastern Time, we'll have the second major of the season for you here on ESPN. But for now, Lonnie Waliczek in control. 31-pin lead. And 2.
It's okay if it's just the 2. If it's the 2-8, a little bit tougher. If it's the 2-10, extremely difficult. If it's the 2-8-10, forget it. Just get 9.
Takes care of the 2-pin.
In the wild card match, look where Lonnie Waliczek was standing, about the 13th board. His hand up the back underneath and going straight up the 10th board. Now look at this big move. Some 25 boards to the left. And his ball crossing the 25th board. That's 15 boards left with his target. Changes balls, changes hand positions. You have to be versatile on the PBA Tour, and you have to commit to the change.
Like Chris Barnes, also from Wichita State, real technician of the game. Lonnie understands so much about the layouts, the breakdown, and a thinker on tour. 6-10 up for him now.
On the right lane, he went 2-pin. This one, he wanted to make sure he got a little bit more hand in it, and it was too much hand, leaving the 6-10.
Works very hard with a sports psychologist he spoke with after the show last week in Seattle. That sports psychologist actually lives in Reno, so he'll have a personal session with him when he goes down to the ABC Masters and the other event we've got in Reno coming up after that. They'll have their own little film session, review what happened last week, or watch the TV tape and talk about mannerisms and psychological reactions. All those things are so big. There's so much on the line. BW in a big hole. 10-pin.
Man.
That was a big shot, and he needed a strike there.
Oh, Jesus.
He could have cut into that big lead from Lonnie
Nines.
Waliczek. He goes solid 9, ring and 10 there.
Seventh frame takes care of the 10. Ready, let's break down this week's extra play.
Great game of Pete Weber. Starting around the 30th board right here. Now watch this. He's going to go in this direction with his feet. That gets his body out of the way and gets him to create an inside-out swing to get the ball to go from right to left. For you folks at home, if you want to go straight, walk towards your target. If you want to throw the big hook, walk away from your target.
On lane 29. In the pocket for Pete Weber. He knows it might be too late with the way Waliczek is bowling.
Sorry, don't throw it that good next time, Pete. Throw it bad next time.
Pete referring to the ringing 10 that he left in the 7th frame. He threw it really, really good. Gets 9. But Pete Weber can strike out for 217. Lonnie Waliczek going at a 215 pace. This match is far from over.
A big shot. Big moment. Looked high, and it was indeed. Right through the nose, and the 6-10 remains up for Waliczek.
Lonnie Waliczek has lost his reaction. Needs to make a big, giant move to the left, or needs to move right and go straighter and firmer.
You know, you and Marshall played some golf this week. Marshall came out on top. He had a home course advantage. Lonnie also played some golf in Oregon, Pacific Bandon, Oregon, with Jason Duran and Brian Waliczek, his brother, on Monday. Helped release some of the pressure and the steam from his disappointment Sunday in Seattle. He said it really made a difference. Had a perfect day for golf in Southern Oregon.
If you've never been to Southern Oregon, they have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. It's just a beautiful place here. Weather is just ideal, usually year-round. Summertime gets a little warm, but right now, one guy looking to get red hot is Lonnie Waliczek. 9th frame, he can set up the 10th frame with a strike here.
Up 26, foundation frame time. Waliczek. High. 3-6-10 up for Lonnie. Rick Donnelly, Ed Cleveland. Proprietors here at Lava Lanes in Medford. What a job they've done. We reflected earlier the viewpoint of Ryan Shafer. He says the best tour stop in terms of the professionalism from proprietors and their staff to the players.
Absolutely, bar none. There is not a tournament that we bowl on tour that's run better than this tournament here.
Has to cover and does so. Open frame for Lonnie.
Not to mention the fact that the first place trophy is a $4,000 Rolex watch, engraved.
Wow.
First class all the way at this event.
That's where we're coming to you from. Lava Lanes, Medford, Oregon, live coverage here on ESPN. We have Randy Peterson, our entire crew. PDW, the Hall of Famer, bid for a 30th title May have a roadblock in front of that. That was light, and the 2 stands for Pete.
Damn it. Man. This is retarded.
Listen to this ball hit the lane. When that ball bounces like that, it takes revolutions off. It delays hook, and that ball went too far down the lane before it hooks.
So it might be a disappointment for his fan club. There they are. Nan Notaboom, Ann Evans, Tess Lorenzen, Ellie Bard, Megan Pitt, Christy Towell, all from Hood River, Oregon. They make their return appearance. Their debut was last year. Good 4 or 5 hour drive from Hood River here in Medford. They're back to support them. They got their own website. Hoping for a comeback here. Gets a break there.
Whatever.
Late in the match with Lonnie in this semifinal. Today, 3 Eastern noon here on the West Coast. American Olympic medalists Casey Fitz-Randolph, Kip Carpenter, Joey Cheek, and Jay Rod. Jennifer Rodriguez go for gold at the 2004 World Sprint Speed Skating Championships. Today at 3 Eastern noon on the West Coast, only on ABC Sports Championship Television.
Pete strikes out. He forces Lonnie Waliczek to mark the 10th frame. Gets it.
Mark in the 10th frame in the fan club.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. If Pete Weber strikes out, he forces Lonnie to get 9 pins on the first ball. If he misses a spare, it would be 198, 197. Waliczek would be the winner.
But still, there is pressure coming up on Lonnie if Pete strikes out, which is similar to last week's scenario in Seattle. Pressure. And he come through. Pete forces it.
And you notice that ball didn't bounce when it hit the lane. Dead flush perfect.
In that lane, I thought I threw really good.
I crossed next to Pete in qualifying this week. He bowled phenomenal. I never heard his ball bounce once.
Just eat me.
Remember, 9 pins on the first ball, he's a winner. Anything less, he would have to convert the spare.
Isn't this a familiar situation? It wasn't a mark last week. It was that mark. Now it's the 9 pins. Still needs a count to advance. Oh my goodness, a washout. This can't be happening. Not like again to Lonnie Waliczek.
His last 3 frames, he went high, high, high. This ball doesn't hit the head pin. Just unbelievable.
1, 2, 4, 10 washout.
Needs to make this and get 2 pins. But we saw Norm Duke do this to win earlier in the year in Kansas City. Made the washout to beat Mika. You have no idea how difficult this is to make. You got to get the ball left side of the head pin, throw the head pin over into the 10.
Can history repeat itself with Lonnie back-to-back weeks? He's gotten this far. Trying to cover it. 10 pin. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's just the ultimate screw right
that
there.
That is the worst break on the planet. He threw the shot, the 10 pin goes, or the head pin goes right around the 10 pin. Pete Weber wins by 2 pins.
On the bench, Pete Weber wins. It's back-to-back trouble for Lonnie, who succumbs to the pressure again. Incredible moment for a great bowler on our tour. So Pete Weber advances to the final to take on Tommy Delutz Jr. One of the great guys of the tour has to endure more hardship. Lonnie Waliczek.
Unbelievable. The same thing back-to-back weeks for Lonnie Waliczek. This time he made the shot to convert the spare. The head pin doesn't cooperate. We'll be back. PDW, Tommy Delutz Jr.
PDW fan club from Hood River, Oregon. They are very pleased that somehow their hero has survived to the final to take on Tommy Delutz Jr., which leads us to the Geico Direct Championship recap, Randy.
Thanks, Dave. In our wild card match, it was Lonnie Waliczek defeating Ryan Shafer by the score of 248 to 216. Lonnie wins on the strength of the first 6 strikes to start that game. In the semifinal number 1, Tommy Delutz Jr.
starts with the front 9, wins a $10,000 bonus from Cambridge Credit Counseling. He takes down Brad Angelo 279 to 211. And as you just saw, unbelievable. Pete Weber against Lonnie Waliczek. Lonnie needing a mark, leaves the washout, doesn't convert. Pete Weber wins by 2, 197-195.
Well, that's just
This week's Geico Direct Championship recap. Tommy Delutz Jr. has not won since November 18th, 2001. He won in Uncasville, Connecticut. A Long Island Open over Chris Barnes. Can he do it again? We'll find out. What a day we've had in Medford, Oregon already, folks. In that win over Brad Angelo, Tommy Delutz Jr. flirting with a 300 game. He came up short, but still a 279-211 win for him. And Pete Weber somehow surviving a dramatic moment. Lonnie Waliczek failing again late. And you see what's on the line. $40,000, 25,000 points. Pete leads the point list right now. 25,000 of the winner. Both thinking of a title. And that match underway. Break with a 10 for Tommy Delutz Jr.
An interesting sidebar. We watched both players in practice trying to play that straight line from second arrow. But when you watch players play the deep inside line, there's 2 players that come to my mind that are great at doing this. Well, 3. Pat Healy Jr., Tommy Delutz Jr., and I think the best player that's ever played the deep inside line is 3-time U.S. Open champion Dave Husted. There's Petey with the straight ball from second arrow.
He's really made a change in the warm-up in between the semis and the finals, and a good start, which leads us to the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup, Randy.
Pretty even, Tommy, with a little bit higher average, and now obviously that's going to translate into a higher strike percentage.
Title match numbers, outstanding. The average, almost 220. These 3 bowlers have won 30 titles in their career. On the way to a 4th, perhaps, with a big shot from PDW.
We talked about being versatile. We saw Lonnie Waliczek do it. Now watch Pete Weber, one of the best the game's ever seen. The deep inside line with a different ball on the left lane, the straight ball on the right lane.
44 events we talked about between the last title for Delutz. Paralyzer, down goes number 5.
Yes, the paralyzing 5. When we talk about making those adjustments, it's hard enough to make those adjustments game to game. Try doing it in the same game. 2 different balls, 2 different lines. If you think that's easy, well, then come out here and try it. Under this type of pressure, the lights, the money, the exemption for winning. Tommy Delutz Jr., however, he's going with on both lanes, going with the deep inside shot.
Looks for the turkey ball. It's a perfect start to begin this championship match. It's been great bowling so far. 3 in a row.
Made the big move in like Pete Weber did on that lane, but he went to a less aggressive bowling ball. The reason why, he's got to get that ball to push down through the spot. Let's talk about concentration for a minute. Check out these eyes. They never leave the target. You think he likes that shot? Oh, yeah.
So the master craftsman, Pete Weber, makes his adjustments between the semis and the finals. Will it pay off for him? Great start. Sure key for him to start this championship match. Last year, Ernie Els became the first PGA Tour member in 14 years to win the first 2 events of the season. The dramatic playoff 57-foot putt for the victory. Leads the field the Sony Open in Hawaii. This year left to defeat Davis Love III. Jay Singh and others defend his championship. It's all coming up 7:30 Eastern Time today, 4:30 on the West Coast on ESPN. Back to Pete. Thanks for the 4-bagger. Lane level. Look at it.
Come on.
4 in a row. What a start for each. 7 combined strikes in this championship match. Crowd loves it. Emotion and a title on the line next. Plenty of enthusiasm. The crowd here today in Medford, Oregon at the Medford Open. A lot of lanes. These 2 have only met 1 time. Shafer and Pete Weber. Shafer earlier. Delutz now in this final. Tommy won Japan Cup this year. 259-198 against Pete. So they meet again today here in Medford. Wow. Call. perfect start for each. We're all even. 4 baggers between the two, leading us to the Uniroyal Tire Rock and Roll, Randy.
Lonnie Waliczek only needing a mark again. Leaves the devastating washout and wraps the one around the 10. Lonnie cannot believe his fate. 2 weeks in a row.
All the mental focus training with that sports psychologist in Reno will come into play again for Lonnie Waliczek. What a true competitor, though, and another challenge facing him. We're sure he'll be up to it. Delutz keeps the streak going. 5-bagger for Tommy. It's a perfect game between the two. You couldn't ask for a better championship match.
We had a comedian earlier in the week, this week at Lava Lanes. His catchphrase was, "Get her done." And that's exactly what Tommy Delutz is doing. But watch this. Watch what Pete Weber does. I've showed it to you before. Look at the fingers at the top of the swing right there. See how open that hand is? That means there's no grab at the bottom. Clean release.
Pete hitting for a 5-bagger.
Oh,
You bet.
what do you think about that?
Got it in, Dan. Got it in, and it held line. Yeah, he said, what do you think about that? He got pumped up because he knows he got away with that shot. That was left, and it held. That'll get you pumped up in a hurry.
Hardly any hook, going right at the pocket. The adjustments continue.
At the Tournament of Champions this year, I had to get really firm on the right lane because the right lane was on fire. It burned up. It was really dry. On the left lane, I had to stay soft. It failed me in the 8th frame when I washed out. Let's see how it holds up for Pete Weber.
Yeah! Streak continues. 6-bagger Pete Weber.
So far, so good.
Same guy that bowled the first game.
Yeah, well, you got new life, Pete, and you're taking advantage of it. Same thing happened last night, the round of 8 against Doug Kent. Doug Kent had Pete buried. 6th game, Dougie needs a mark in the 10th frame. Leaves the 3, 4, 6, 7. Doesn't convert. They go to a 7th game. Pete wins.
We've had 16 all-time 300 games on TV. Maybe 2 more here. We'll see. Nice late break. Tommy Delutz Jr. Front 6 for him.
Oh, by the way, after 18 frames, after a game and a half, Tommy Delutz Jr. only has 1 spare because he's only shot at 1 spare.
I guess the wrist is feeling okay. He tells us he may need surgery as soon as the season's done. Never sure when the last ball might be thrown. It hurts every time he competes. It's that bad. He's fought through it.
I guarantee you right now he's not feeling any pain because it's pure adrenaline and the rush of the moment. Being in the spotlight, the big-time PBA Tour Championship match going against the great Pete Weber. Perfect through 6 frames.
How about a 7-bagger? Tommy Delutz Jr. You better believe it, folks. What a match we've got brewing here in Medford.
How comfortable and confident does Tommy Delutz Jr. look? Look at this hand. Same open hand a la Pete Weber. And a perfect result.
Had the front 9 in that other match of the day for him in the semis, so he's already won the $10,000 from Cambridge Credit Counseling. Only 1 bowler can do that per TV show, so we can't have that again. But still $20,000 available. Can Pete continue to roll?
Yeah!
Oh,
yeah! That's right! I'm going after it!
7 in a row for each. We're all even. Can you believe it?
I can't tell you how impressed I am watching this unfold. Not only what Tommy Delutz Jr. is doing, but the way Pete Weber is getting there. Straight and hard on the right lane. Big giant hook on the left lane.
The max score for each is still perfection. PBA at its finest. It's for 8 in a row.
Yeah!
Another!
Get you that!
8 straight for Pete. The front 7 for Tommy Delutz Jr.
You heard a little bounce right here when he lets go of it. Watch him run it out. He knows it's going to be close. Just carry ball. Oh, yeah. Back on you, TD.
This is pressure. Looks for his 8th straight. Yes!
It doesn't get any better than this, Dave Ryan. Both players with the front 8s. How about it?
Incredible bowling, folks. Buckle up because we have got one whale of finish coming your way. If you have the remote control in your hand, put it down. Put it down.
Anybody that doesn't think that PBA bowling is not exciting, they don't own a television.
at the breakdown. 16 games have been accomplished in tour history on TV. Maybe more to come. It's high, and his streak is over in a big way with a split.
And a
4-9.
bad one here, 4-9 pocket split. If it's just 9, it's still a possibility of 279, which means if Pete Weber strikes in the 9th and doesn't strike in the 10th, we could have a tie. Tommy Delutz Jr. needs to make this.
He's not had a split all week. You saw the numbers in Medford. Desperately needs to come up with one now. 4-9, difficult shot. Doesn't get it. He chops just the 4. The 9 stands an open frame and a wide open door now for Pete Weber.
I guarantee you one thing right now, Pete Weber knows that he just got the door wide open for himself, but he knows that he wants to strike in this 9th frame, which will all but seal victory. He strikes here. The only thing on Pete's mind is shooting 300.
Wife Tracy, a bowler herself. In the background, can barely stand to watch. Looks for another.
Oh, my.
A split for him. He almost had the big 4. Unbelievable, the 4-6-7.
Watch him come up and out of this shot. Normally when this happens, it's a big pull. Sure enough, right through the face. He needs to get 2. Keep it a 1-pin game.
He does get 2. The 6 stands, and the return break after perfection to start our championship match. Now he's down 1.
Right.
What an unbelievable swing.
Pete Weber, 3 strikes in the 10th frame, 265. Tommy Delutz Jr., 3 strikes in the 10th frame, 266.
Wow. It could come down to that. More drama, more pressure.
Gotta have it.
Big rebound shot after the open for PDW.
Gotta have it. He's gotta have this one. He needs all 3 in the 10th to apply all the pressure to TD.
Pete has won 29 titles. He told us last night after the round of 8. Doesn't matter how many I've won. I still have the thirst each and every week. The competitive fires have not cooled for Pete Weber one bit.
Absolutely nothing in the world like winning.
The king of the hill. Going tour for a week. Trying to get back there. Earn his crown. Big shot. Helping him to the championship route.
Huge, huge shot that forces Tommy Delutz to at least double. But remember, Tommy Delutz Jr. today has only not struck twice. And we're through 9 frames of his second game. A 10-pin and a 4-9 is the only thing that Tommy Delutz Jr. has left today. Big strike here. This will force Tommy Delutz Jr. to strike out.
Really put the pressure on. Yes!
Big time strike right there. It's a lot more difficult. It really factors into the mental psyche to have to get 3 strikes to win. A double in 9, much easier to do.
First things first for Tommy Delutz Jr. He's got to have it here. Not a strike. Pizza champion. There's one.
Anything less than strikes for Tommy Delutz Jr., it's over. 2 more strikes, Tommy Delutz Jr. is a winner.
It's impossible, folks, in this sport to create any more pressure, any more drama than what we're seeing unfold in Southern Oregon today. Gotta have it. 10-pin for Tommy Delutz Jr. And it's over. Pete Weber has won his 30th career PBA title and gets the congratulations from his wife, Tracy.
God, I'm the luckiest person on the face of the earth today.
Yeah, right you are, Pete. Not that you don't deserve it, but Tommy Delutz Jr., in my opinion, did nothing wrong today. Made the best effort, put the best performance out there on the lanes, and came up 9 pins short.
You can't try to do better for the week.
rather be lucky than good. That is the situation with Pete Weber, who survives not one but two huge breaks in this television show this afternoon.
Tommy Delutz Jr. never missed the pocket the entire day for 2 games, 279, 256, and he has a second place finish to show for it.
He's just floored by the victory. 4th ever to win 30 career titles, and now congratulations from his club. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA Medford Open is brought to you by new Odor Eaters Plus, the only arch-supporting insole that protects against odor and wetness. By Geico, a 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by the official candy bar of the PBA, Baby Ruth from Nestle, the real deal. Harry and David's Country Village in Medford starts their 70th year here in this part of Oregon. What a day for PW Pete Weber. Be sure to stay tuned next week as we have our second major of the season. That will be exciting, but it will be difficult to overcome the drama, the thrilling excitement we had today here in Medford. Pete Weber wins his 30th career title. We are coming to you from the National Stadium next week, our second major of this season, the ABC Masters. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Now for the entire crew and my partner, Randy Peterson, it's Dave Ryan saying so long, reminding you that women's billiards is coming up next here on ESPN. What a day. History making for Pete Weber. We had it all on the PBA Tour. The club loved every minute of it.